Guys, what is happening? 24 hours away from week one, Dallas and Philadelphia, and I'm here to tell you my 2025 fantasy football MVP. Guys, it's Chase Brown, okay? Look, full transparency, I'm new at this recording thing. And when I did my bold predictions episode the other day, I had no intention of going on for 49 minutes. I even got cut off with two guys at the end of them, my two tight end predictions. So bear with me. I don't want to sit and go on and on and on about a guy and lose your interest. I'm not trying to do that. Bear with me. But what I will say is this. If there's one guy in fantasy that I could go on for hours about, it is Mr. Chase Brown, running back, Cincinnati Bengals. Guys. And keep in mind, when you talk about your fantasy MVP, a lot of things go into consideration. The value of where you got him, which I'll admit, the beginning of August, he was going in the middle to back of the third round. As according to ADP, as of 2 hours ago here today, September 3rd, he was all the way into the late second. So he moved up almost a full round, which I understand. I mean, I was surprised. If you got the value I was getting at him in the third, it doesn't even matter. He's still my fantasy MVP. Last year, now remember, he had Zach Moss as the starter last year in Cincinnati. From weeks 9 to 17, this guy in PPR formats was the running back 5, averaging 20.6 PPR points per game. Chase Brown, on a team that I've said, and you'll hear it. I already made my bold prediction with Chase Brown. I think he's going to finish as the RB3 in PPR overall behind Gibbs 1, Bijan 2. The guy was the RB5 from weeks 9 to 17 on a team that is full throttle on offense, no defense, okay? When you break down that offense, it's Ja'Marr Chase, who's gonna light the world on fire again. It's T. Higgins, who, again, I try to keep this positive. I don't believe in the terms injury prone. Okay, I don't like that term. I don't use that. I think injuries can be fluky. Who knows? But let's just put it this way: if T. Higgins manages to play the full season next season, it would be his first one. Now, you've seen players that do it. We just got off a season with James Conner. That was at his age 29 going into 30 year. That was his first season he played fully healthy. First one. Keenan Allen, I think, just had a fully healthy season with Chicago last season at 33. And Keenan Allen's missed a lot of time in his career. So there is a huge chance it could have just been fluky and T. Higgins plays the whole season. But let's just say, hypothetically, history repeats itself with him and he misses any time. Look at this depth chart, okay? Obviously, Joe Burrow, he's amazing. You can't say enough about him. You've got Ja'Marr Chase, best wide receiver in football. T. Higgins, probably the best wide receiver too. And then outside of that, and then Chase Brown in the backfield. Outside of that, you have, Ioshevis is the wide receiver 3. Second-year wide receiver Jermaine Burton. Your tight end core, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant. These guys aren't fantasy guys that if Higgins goes down, they're not fantasy plug-in plays. You're missing out there. So realistically, with no defense and a team that with a healthy Joe Burrow, knock on wood, but with a healthy Joe Burrow, they're going to be competitive, defense or no defense, just like last season. It's going to be Ja'Marr Chase and Chase Brown. First full season Chase Brown is going into as the out-and-out starter for this team. Had a whole off-season banked on him with the full endorsement of the coaching staff and the GMs and everything, going, we've struck gold with this guy. This is his first season going in as the clear out-and-out starter. In April during the draft, in one of the best running back draft classes we've had in a long time, if not ever, the only draft capital they spent on one of these running backs in Cincinnati was in the 6th round with Taj Brooks, who's a nice player. I liked him. I thought he should have went in the 4th round. I was a little higher on him, so I was surprised that he dropped. But it's Chase Brown They brought back Samaje Perine, who turns 30 years old next week. Literally next week, he turns 30. He knows the system. He's a familiar face. They brought him in. But he's not a threat. Taj Brooks is not a threat. It is all systems go for Chase Brown. And where you get him at, ADP-wise, there were guys going ahead of him. Look, and I'm not going to talk down. Like I said, I don't even need to say the people that are in front of him or the list that I think he's going to do better, because I said it on my bold prediction channel and I'm sticking with it. I truly think Chase Brown finishes the season as the running back 3 in PPR. And I'm sticking with it. Guys, RB5 from weeks 9 to 17 when he finally became the starter. Zach Moss is gone. They cut him. The team is going to have to put up 35 plus points with that defense. But the crazy thing is they have the firepower to do it. They have Joe Burrow that's able to do it. Chase Brown might lead the league in catches for a running back. He might be up there. I predict Jahmyr Gibbs too, but Chase Brown might lead the league in receptions for a running back. He was going in the third. Even at the back of the second, you were able to get a stud in your first round. Hopefully, if you had earlier drafts, think about it. You would get 2 studs first and second round, and then go. Even if you pass on positions and end up with Chase Brown. I mean, I said this all in the bold prediction, but I'm gonna keep it real. My fantasy MVP, and here's the deal too. And maybe I'm a little naive for saying this, but when I broke down who my fantasy MVP was, there wasn't anybody even in contention closely behind him. And hopefully I'm right. Last season, I was all in on Drake London. He was my fantasy MVP. I'm even higher, and he did really well. You think of the value. Chase Brown, last thing I'll say about Chase Brown. The value's already shot through the roof. I'm in a keeper league, and I got to keep him for a 12th round pick. He went in the 12th round pick in a 10-team league last season. He's shot up to a month earlier in the month in August. It was in the 3rd round. Now it's at the end. He's ADP 22 in a PPR draft. In drafts, let's lock him up. I mean, let's stick with this ADP. I know there's still probably some drafts going on right now that could fluctuate that a little bit. Probably some early morning, lunchtime drafts tomorrow before the season actually starts. But I don't think that's going to change any more so. So let's just lock it in. He ended up as the ADP in PPR formats as the running back 22. The overall player at 22. And I think, guys, I think he's going to explode. Chase Brown, my 2025 fantasy MVP. And here's the deal, real quick. If you're in a dynasty league, and I like I said, I'm a huge dynasty guy, and a big reason why that is because my favorite thing in fantasy is trading. I love trading. There's nothing better than getting a trade proposal to you. I know I'm a sicko, but I just love it. And I'm telling you right now, and the reason I said that is because when you're in a redraft league, it's harder to trade for, right? Because everybody's going for the championship that season. So if you're going to make trades, it's only it's all or nothing for a redraft team. Whereas dynasty, you can sit back. Oh, you have injuries, you can wait. Oh, you know what? I'm playing for next year, whatever. So, but regardless, in any format, if you're able to trade for Chase Brown and get any value before he goes freaking bananas on Sunday against Cleveland, do it. The time is running out. I have 3 last offers that I'm waiting, that I know, like on Sleeper, they show the icons that show that a guy has seen your message. They've all seen them and they're all waiting. And I'm praying, man. I'm praying that it goes through, because I'm telling you, I don't think people remember how amazing Chase Brown was the second half of last season when they gave him the keys. As soon as Sunday happens and they see him on the field and how explosive he is and how much he's used in the passing game with one of the best QBs in football, you have no chance of getting him for any sort of value. So I'm just giving you some, take it or leave it, but I'm just saying, throw some feelers out there, man. Like, prime guy, dynasty guys. If you can flip a James Cook, a Kenneth Walker, a Breece Hall, a Josh Jacobs, sorry to say it, Christian McCaffrey, you can probably get a little bit extra on top. Give me Chase Brown all day, and I don't think it's crazy to say that. I really think. I mean, guys, you want pieces of Cincinnati's offense, right? Who wouldn't? They're fantasy gold this year. They were fantasy gold last year. They didn't even make the playoffs. You think they're going to come in back to back, even with that defense that's completely shot? I just don't see it. You see what a healthy Joe Burrow can do. You see how Jamar Chase opens up the field. They're going to be in the red zone. It's going to be a shootout every game that they're in this year. And Chase Brown I think he's going to be the second most important weapon on that team ahead of T. Higgins. I really do. So, 2025 Fantasy MVP, Chase Brown. Thanks for listening. Love you guys.